Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 of our home renovation series. And I am so excited about all of the changes that we have made to our home and the upgrades. They were definitely needed and we love the way it's turning out. So I hope you guys enjoy this video as well. And you can't start a morning without first having a big cup of coffee, so that is what I'm making here. And rewatching this clip is making me crave coffee so much. I love this espresso machine and the Burr grinder, and I will definitely link those in the description box below. So the first thing I did was just paint the crown up here, and I didn't get footage of all of this. Obviously we did this all the way around the house where there was crown, so it did take a long time, but I only inserted this footage of me doing it here above the pantry. We painted this over several days, and this is just one day that I picked up the camera and caught footage of this. So we did start a lot of these renovations before we were actually filming this for you guys, so there was a lot that we didn't cover. And I will try and make a video showing you guys what the house looked like before we started any of these renovations, and now the changes since we have done them. And then moving to the front door, I'm just painting the door jamb and the crown above that. And all of this painting that you see me doing here was before we painted the walls gray, but since we didn't finish painting the door until after the walls were gray, I decided to make this video come after the video of me painting the walls gray. And for any of you guys who have painted before, you know all of these touch-up steps take so long to finish, but when you finish them, it just really makes everything come together and look so much better. So now moving on to these windowsill ledges, I just sanded them down, put one coat of primer, and then painted them with the white color that we chose for all of the trim in our house. And I did paint all of these windowsills, but I only got footage of me painting this one in the living room. And you can tell in this shot this was before we had painted the walls gray. And that is what it looked like after it was all done. We love the white so much better than the scraped and chipped wood stained color that was on it before. This is a couple of days later, and this day we were going to be working on sanding this door and painting it white as well. So this is a couple of days later, and we were moving on to the project of sanding this door down and painting it white. So previously it had been painted white, but it wasn't quite the white that we had in the rest of the house with like the trim and everything. So we just wanted to sand it down and paint it. It also had some stains that we just couldn't get off, so we just wanted to sand all of that down and repaint it. So I just briefly sanded down this little wood trim around this little window, and then I taped off the glass so that when I painted it, it wouldn't get paint on the glass. And we had obviously removed all of the hardware, the door handles, and the hinges and everything like that before we started. And then I just sanded the door down with a piece of sandpaper. It didn't really need to be sanded too much, I just wanted to kind of rough it up so that the next coat of paint would stick. And then I wiped that all down so that there wouldn't be any sand to mess up the coat of paint. And then I started working on this wood trim piece and putting the first coat of primer on. And you guys are seeing the sped up process of all of this, but this project literally took all day, and even after that full day of working on it, it still definitely needed some touch-ups, which you will see at the end of the video. And you can see here that the white color that we chose is a little bit whiter than what was on there before. The other color was a little bit more yellow. And all of this detailing on the door made it take so much longer than had it just been a flat door. It does look really nice, but it just is a pain when you're thinking about repainting it. And since I was doing it outside, I had to be careful that no gnats got in this paint, which they were trying to do. And here you can see the detailing in the door that I was talking about. It was just really hard to get it to be smooth without the lines of the paintbrush in it and those detailing pieces. So after getting that first side done, which was actually the outside of the door, I flipped it over and started on the inside part of the door. And you can see here I'm using a hand sander to sand off the previous paint that we had put on there, which was the tan color, but that totally didn't work, so I ended up using a scraper to try and scrape it off, and that also didn't work, so we ended up going with some stripper and stripping it off that way. So after all of that previous coat of paint was off, we cleaned up all of the mess from using the stripper. I was finally able to put a coat of primer and then a coat of paint. So I wasn't able to get footage of all of that day and me finishing it up. It ended up being a very late night with trying to finish it up, and it was just too dark to film when we did finish it up. So this is the next day, and here I'm just touching up parts that we didn't quite get good enough that first night. And we did get new hardware for this door, so like a new handle and new lock to match the hinges that you can see there, and it just goes with all the hardware in the rest of the house. They just hadn't come in on this day. So I was using this sponge to paint the second day because I was hoping that it would be easier to not show the strokes of like the paintbrush and stuff that was happening the previous night. And it did seem to help some, but I kind of wish that I would have used this the previous night as well. And I think that would have helped it to turn out better. But overall, we are very pleased with the new white color. here I'm just removing that tape that I had from that glass piece. And here is the finished product. We're so excited that this is finally white and we're not looking at that tan color that was coming off anyways because we were stripping it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Definitely subscribe. Give us a comment below. We love to hear from our subscribers. So be thankful and rejoice in the Lord. Bye guys.
Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon